Alright guys, well there she is. It's going to be the first ride on the new Africa Twin Adventure Sports model. I unloaded it out of the truck in the pouring rain last night and put it in the garage, but I haven't actually ridden this bike, and that's our startup. I noticed yesterday when I started up and rolled it into the truck, that startup is super smooth compared to my 1190. Huh, that's cute. Ridden this bike, and that's our startup. I'm really curious to see how this thing's gonna perform. Whoa, I can definitely feel it's pretty tall. Wow, the suspension or the seat height is higher than my 1190. Definitely shorter than the 950 though. Looks like the gas gauge is full. We got about 561 miles on the odometer. I really need to take a look and see what modes this thing has. I have not yet dug into the manual to find out what specific features this Adventure Sport model has and how to change it from one mode to the next. I mean, I definitely see a selector button up here. Looks like turn signals are in the standard location for most Japanese motorcycles. I apologize for the height of this windshield. It looks like it's right in the way of the camera, so we'll have to see if I need to adjust the camera up on top of the helmet or what we need to do. But if it is in your way, I apologize. I also need to apologize in advance for the audio quality. The helmet that I'm testing out right now is a Simpson Bandit helmet, and last night I just wired audio into it for the first time, so we'll see how that turns out. Hopefully it's not too windy inside the helmet. As you can see on the front of the GoPro here, it is a little bit moist this morning. We're supposed to have flash flooding. Hopefully we can avoid that on the commute to work, but yeah, wet roads, no big deal. Just a little bit of liquid sunshine. So far in just the 2 miles I've been on it, it feels very refined as compared to the KTM. The KTM feels very rough around the edges when you start it up, and the shake that the bike has, and just the overall roar as you turn the throttle on. This Africa Twin feels really, really smooth, buttery smooth actually. Like the whole hitting the starter thing, man, the starter is like instantaneous, and smooth. I don't know how to describe it other than smooth. Mirrors adjusted out right. As I was saying, I haven't had a chance yet to dig through the manual to take a look at the various settings, if there are any, as far as the suspension goes, or as far as traction control or ABS. I'm sure it has ABS, I'm pretty positive. But as far as the other modes and features, I haven't had a chance to take a look at those. So right now we're riding it however it came out of the box. Horn button's pretty close to the turn signal. Definitely easy to hit. The smoothness of this motor and the way that this thing shifts to the gears is really, really impressive. How does it feel? So at 6th gear, cruise at the highway, 70 miles an hour. When I grab throttle, it's kind of lethargic. Kind of picks up and slowly moves to the curve. That's definitely a big difference between this and the 1190, but the 1190 is pushing quite a few more horses. Roll on 6th gear, 75 on the 1190. Ready? Up to 100. It's pretty quick. Well, it looks like that rain is not going to hold off for us. We definitely got some downpour. So I'm going to throw it out there once again. If there are any tests that you would like to see while I've got this bike in my possession, leave a comment below. Let me know what that test would be. If you want to see a comparison between this bike and a different bike, I'll do my best to try to get a hold of that other bike and take a look at whatever comparison you're asking me to take a look at. Off the top, 1190 and the 950 and the BMW R1200 GS Adventure are 3 bikes that I own and ride a lot. Put a lot of miles on those bikes. and I'll be able to get a really good kind of comparison between the three of those models of motorcycles. That's what I have the most experience on, so that's really what I'm going to be talking about. But if there's a different motorcycle that you would like to have compared to this Africa Twin Adventure Sports model, please leave a comment below, and I will do my best to get a hold of somebody locally here that has that bike so we can get together and we can have a little comparison ride. If there's an accessory or some sort of forkle that you want to have reviewed or ask how it works with this bike, shoot that out in the comments as well. I'll do my best to get a hold of as many of those as possible to be able to take a look at those and to give you any feedback that I can. So riding in the rain, I can definitely tell you that the windshield is high. It's definitely blocking all of that wind and that pressure on my chest. I can definitely feel that this big fat beast of a tank is 100% protecting my legs. I'm getting no wind pressure here on my knees, completely covered. Now I don't know how much I'm going to like that when I get off road, but here cruising on the highway in the pouring rain, that, my friends, this right here, this enclosed cockpit, if you will, is a huge bonus. I mean, that was a big change. I had to going from my BMW R1200 GS Adventure that had that massive tank on it to the 950 Adventure R, which was more streamlined and sleek. I definitely get a lot more weather on my knees and on my body than I did on the BMW. And that's where on this bike I feel the cockpit's very similar to the BMW in the fact that I feel more protected from the elements than I do when I'm riding a KTM. See, seating position, my feet feel like they're in a good spot. Not really a fan of the rubber foot pegs. Probably do something about that if I were going to keep this bike for the duration. But yeah, seating position feels good, knees feel good. I definitely feel on top of the bike. Hand position's actually pretty good. Let me see what it feels like standing up. Yeah, standing up, my elbows are nice and bent. I'm 5'9", 195 pounds, and I probably wouldn't change a thing as far as ergonomics go and riding position. A lot of guys are putting rocks risers on this bike to get the bars up a little higher. But in the standing position, my arms are still bent. I got a nice bend in the elbows, and it feels really good to me. Alright, looks like we got some traffic up here. I see some blinking lights. There may have been some sort of automobile confrontation up here, or they're doing road work. Probably not road work due to the fact that it's pouring rain, but let's see. Oh, maybe it's a flood. Nope, they're actually doing road work. They're repairing one of the barriers that got taken out by a car crash. Interesting. No rest for the wicked. I really like the throttle. The throttle feels really good. I think they went to a throttle-by-wire on this one, so there's not actual cables in there on the throttle. There's just basically a return spring that's providing the pressure that a throttle cable would feel like, but it has a very, how would I describe that? It has a very uniform feel. A lot of times with the throttle cable you'll get a stronger pull at one side than the other, but that's not the case with this guy. It feels really uniform all the way through the rotation. Stock exhaust has a nice little throaty sound on the T-cell. Ooh, it's pretty cool. Now I did get a chance to ride one of the early Africa Twins. I got a buddy named Walter that picked up a DCT version, literally one of the first DCTs in California. And another buddy, Keith, that picked up the standard transmission version. We rode the Sheet Iron 300 a couple years ago, and I was able to swap between those two bikes and kind of get a little feel for what they felt like. It was neat. I definitely feel different on this one. I feel like some things have been modified, and I feel it's much more refined. I don't know, they changed much between the models, but it definitely feels more refined than I thought those felt when I first threw a leg over. It definitely feels bigger. I mean, this Adventure Sports model with the larger tank has a more girthy feel to it for sure. That's one of those things. Guys are going to argue that an extra gallon of gasoline at what, almost 8 pounds is going to be a hindrance, but you don't always have to fill the tank all the way to the top. You can run it half full if you want to, and you got the same half full as a standard Africa Twin with a smaller tank and therefore a lighter weight. So on first look, the Adventure Sports model has a taller windscreen, a larger fuel tank. It's got crash guards up front, it's got an engine guard, it's got a luggage rack. Those are a couple of the things just on face value that I looked at and saw So I'll have to dig in a little deeper and give you guys the rest of the details on what this vehicle, like I said, I picked the vehicle up, I have not had a chance to go through it and to find out kind of what this particular vehicle has as far as features, benefits, traction control, suspension settings, and things of that nature. So I'll take a look at that today and be able to come back and show you what features and benefits it does have, and then we'll be able to put those to a test out in the field. Oh, the other thing it has from the factory is handguards. I find that to be a very useful feature. Yo, Adam, 4x4 van dude. So my buddy Adam runs a 4x4 van club. I'll go ahead and put a link in the description to that. If you have a four-wheel drive van or you have interest in them, take a look at his channel. It's pretty cool. Well, this, my friends, is what Southern California traffic looks like. If there's been an accident, road work, looks like one lane's closed ahead, so that's probably what's causing our issue this morning. I'm curious to see why this one's closed. I mean, they were changing the barrier on the other one, which is kind of an interesting to do during commute hours and in the rain, but hey, go figure. You coming over? What are you doing? Come on over. Really, dude? Nice. Thank you. Oh, killer, check it out. That's my disable ABS button. Literally reach down, push a button. That's super convenient. Turning off ABS on a lot of these adventure bikes is like a song and a dance in order to get it to turn off. So that push button is going to be really convenient. Well, that's it. First ride on the Africa Twin Adventure Sports model. So about 25 miles. Ooh, it smells brand new too. Has that new motor smell. Oh, that white frame's pretty cool. So yeah, Adventure Sports, skid plate, crash guards. I like the fact they went to the LED turns. Little luggage rack here. Max weight 22 pounds. What tires are these? TrailMax D610 Dunlops. Maybe I'll take those up into the mountains and give those a test like we just did the Anarchy Adventure tire before I swap those out to something a little bit more dirt oriented. I've had this bike for a couple weeks, so please subscribe to the channel if you want to see what kind of shenanigans we're going to get into with this bike. And if not, then hey, thanks for watching this one. Until next time, take care and ride safe out there.